I would tread softly there.
They're renting them?
They're renting them.
They're renting them.
Allegedly.
Oh, no, they're not. This
have-
can't be real. No, this is like soaking. The thing that's not real and doesn't happen.
Part of the article itself said women will stop at nothing.
You know what, babe? You might be right. No
Why
way.
someone would rent underwear?
No. How much money would you pay for 3 sets? This episode is brought to you guys by ScriptureNotes.com, the coolest way of reading your scriptures online. For a free trial of Scripture Notes, please make sure you guys visit the links in the description. Welcome back to WardRadio, ladies and gentlemen. I'm your host, Cardinellis, with Brittany the Shadow, and today we're going to react into your girl. What's her name?
Erica.
Your girl Erica, and one of those awesome Polynesian last names that we can't pronounce, but we're going to try. We're reacting to Erica, and...
Also, she's not my girl. I just follow her on TikTok. Actually, I don't even know if I follow her. I just seen some of her videos.
Look, don't try and distance yourself right now, baby. You're all
I'm not trying to distance myself. It's not my... I've never met her.
So anyway, we're going to be following Erica here and reacting to a new article by the New York Times on garments. Actually, it looks like, ladies and gentlemen, they are arbitraging garments. There's a black market on garments now, big enough that the New York Times took notice, and they did their usual get a quote from John Dehlin, because, you know, they don't realize the in and outs of who's anti and who's pro and so on and so forth. And he got called out by Megan Kohler in the Deseret News for some nasty misquoting. We're going to go over that article as well. This is crazy. Like, I've never seen something as boring as garments take up so much space in the media for so long.
It's been such a hot topic for so... Honestly, I'm getting tired of it. I'm getting bored of it. Like, it's just, I don't know. Like, antis, you hate our underwear? Cool, you've already left. And like... people like, you want to get the tank top version? Okay, it's coming. Like, I have a little patience. I don't know.
Well, 20 years, some might say, is more than a little patience, but
that's true. I'm just saying, like,
we're gonna go over this. We're gonna start from the top. We're gonna start from the top, one step at a time. Here is your girl, and I like how she spells her name, Erica. She does a cool Utah thing, replace a Y with an I. And the back is Tuakiminoa. I think it is. Tuakiminoa.
I don't know how to say her last name.
Yeah, I've got to ask Elder TikTok, dude. Tautai. He'd know how to say this, all right? But anyway, we're going to start from the top, go all the way to the bottom. First things first. Erica, tell us what's up.
TikTok be so for real right now. Are you kidding me? Everyone's up in arms that I let my kid use my phone during sacrament meeting. But we have garment girlies over here selling their garments for like double, triple the value. She checking recommends. She doing the due diligence. What black market type of shit is happening right now?
Yeah. She just said, what black market type of shiz is happening right now?
Like, there's people... Not to rag on Utah, but apparently, allegedly, a girl in Utah, actually multiple women in Utah, are either selling their garments. So they have a friend that lives overseas. They have a missionary overseas. They themselves are flying overseas and buying the tank top garments, coming back, and then selling them for a profit.
I think it goes bigger than that, babe. The paper of record, the Gray Lady. Now, she has fallen from grace, the Gray Lady.
Who's the Gray Lady?
Oh, the Gray Lady. That's the term for the New York Times.
It is?
Yeah, the New York Times. She's called the Gray Lady. If I'm not mistaken, the paper of record of the United States of America. So who is the, quote, Gray Lady, question mark. And here it is. The term... Gray Lady, it refers to several different figures. Most commonly refers to Helena Ravenclaw.
Yeah, Harry Potter.
From Harry Potter, right? But also, alternatively, the Gray Lady or Old Gray Lady can refer to the New York Times newspaper due to its long-standing reputation for serious, objective journalism.
So you just know so many facts. I don't know if you're just like pulling this out of your butt and like, I'm just like, well, he's been right before. Like,
I got you to marry me.
That wasn't hard.
Oh, wait. Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
That's a good thing.
Okay, you're right. Oh, thank you. You're right. That wasn't hard. Now I get it.
Start over this podcast.
Yeah.
I got to start over.
No, you don't. So anyway, the gray lady here just blessed us with an article here. It says, the sacred undergarment that has Mormon women buzzing. I want them all. I will get them all at all costs, said one influencer based in Hawaii. Okay. So the opening by one Lauren Jackson, who actually we give credit where credit is due here. This didn't smack of a hit piece. Definite snark there. And the usual condescension
but also,
of the,
can you, do they write about religious ceremonial wear for any other religion?
Analyze the tone of this. Analyze the tone. It's definitely it's definitely the typical nor'eastern elitist speak and humor and everything. But that's all right. I live there. I love New Yorkers. I think it's great.
But you didn't answer my question.
We're probably more sensitive when they talk about us. Also, being snarky and disrespectful of the Mormon religion is like the last bastion of like acceptable bigotry in the United States of America. Mm-hmm. You could never mock American Indians for their ceremonial outfits. You would be canceled. You could never make a Torah or a Quran, a Book of the Quran musical, but you can make a Book of Mormon musical, and then we're going to give it 11 Tonys.
So we're just easy targets.
We're easy targets. Yeah, I think sometimes because our niceness culture makes it so we don't fight back that much, but a lot of that is changing. Also, as awareness of our faith increases, I think that people are developing positive opinions about general members, so that's changing. Also, as the world just loses its faith in North America and members of our church actually stay strong and hold on to it and have big families and functional families and aren't broken like every other social institution in America, that tide is turning, for lack of a better term. So anyway, New York Times says the following by Lauren Jackson. Some Mormon women are obsessed with something illicit. They're phoning friends, calling in favors, and paying for international shipping to get it. A sacred tank top. Now, I don't know if I would call it a sacred tank top. I can appreciate the humor from somebody who is not in the know, nor do they respect it. This is where your question comes in. Would they ever call it a sacred tank top to the prayer roll that is worn on Jews? Would they say, a rolled up piece of toilet paper for the mezuzah and the Jewish door frames? No, they wouldn't. But this is funny. We'll give credit where credit is due. It's a funny way of calling the garment something the layman will understand, a sacred tank top. The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints has redesigned its temple garments, which are worn by faithful members under their clothes. The garments are effectively underwear that until recently looked like white short-sleeve shirts and knee-length shorts. Now, the church has removed the sleeve on some designs, turning them into tank tops. Now, as you can imagine, not being sanctioned in the United States of America, they're selling like hotcakes, people. They're selling like hotcakes, and this author did her due diligence, and she actually caught up with a couple of influencers. First one, Kim Austin, a 33-year-old consultant living in Provo, said she wore the new garments under a sleeveless dress to church and loved it. And then she said, quote, this is the big quote, "Utah women will stop at nothing," she said. Alyssa and McKenna Banks, sisters who run master classes for styling modest outfits, advertised as garment girlies, but make it vogue.
Right there. Garment girlies? That is so cringe.
No,
that is so cringe.
You're in a bad mood, babe. You would
I'm
like
not in
that.
a bad mood.
You would like that on another day. I like it. Garment girlies. I like it.
Garment girlies? I don't want to be known as a garment girly. I don't know.
Oh, brutal. They're going to clip that. Be like, see, we told you she's apostate. So
cool,
anyway, yeah, man, are you tired because you got home from the beach today?
We did spend all day at the beach. I'm actually not in a bad mood. I just don't like cringy things, and I don't like Utah influencers. I don't like how they have the tank top and they're making videos about garment girlies gotta wear these when Utah doesn't really have access to them yet. So it just kind of flaunts it as either, look, we're better than you because we have these, or we're wealthier than you because we were able to go buy them. But once you have them, this is an outfit that you could wear to be like us.
Okay, interesting. So that's okay. I see where you're coming from there. John Dehlin weighed in
Oh boy.
Looks like our girl Lauren caught up with the biggest anti-Mormon on the internet. Actually, used to be the biggest anti-Mormon on the internet. Now it's Alyssa Grenfell. But anyway, John Dehlin, the host of the podcast Mormon Stories, said he had interviewed hundreds of women, both practicing and former members of the faith. And this is the quote that got him into trouble. I would say close to all of them expressed significant discomfort, if not aversion to wearing garments. He said, the women said the garments made them feel frumpy, contributed to body shame, or negatively affected their sex life with their partners. Okay. Then later on down here, it said other women say they welcome the redesign for health reasons. The garment fit tighter on women, and they complained the synthetic fabrics caused yeast infections. Now, this is the only place where I really had two problems with the article. Anything pop out to you, or should I just dive right in?
I don't understand the yeast infections.
It's a recycled trope.
Exactly.
There was
every woman I know that I have met, that I am friends with in my family, like every woman this has never even been a topic. I don't think that this is real. I think maybe some women had yeast infections. Maybe they were salty about garments and it was an easy thing to say this caused it. But I don't think it's real.
You know how on ex-Mormon subreddit, that's like the hive mind, and they come up with something, they test a bunch of sound bites, kind of like Hollywood producers. We just throw a bunch of spaghetti on the wall, and whatever sticks, we try and replicate. Okay. Mm-hmm. That's what the hive mind of anti-Mormonism does.
Yeah, that's what I coined. They play telephone with themselves.
Yeah, they play telephone with themselves. And what's very interesting is there was a study that was done once that talked about synthetic versus natural fibers and their use in underwear, and whether or not it contributed to yeast infections and kidney infections in people that wore it. And then a bunch of anti-Mormon, ex-Mormons took that and tried to twist it into, look, some of the garments are synthetic fabrics, and studies show that synthetic underwear can cause yeast infections. Therefore, the church, though causation is not correlation, and though correlation is not causation, therefore the church is trying to give women yeast infections, right?
Yeah.
And what happened is then that gets caught up in the zeitgeist, and just like all the silly anti-Mormon evangelical tropes from the 1850s still have legs, and you hear them every once in a while, even though they've been debunked for 150 years. Now there's this new trope that, garments give women yeast infections. They give women yeast infections. Even Nemo said that on Lad Bible TV.
It's just another coin for them to put in their jar to make them feel better about leaving the church.
If they are anti-Mormon, yes.
Yes.
So anyway, the only other thing that bothers me too is either this Lauren Jackson is knowingly doing this and just trying to cover her tracks, or she just doesn't know. I'd want to speak to her. But whenever you present John Dehlin, the biggest anti-Mormon, like if I were to talk about Hasidic Jews in New York City and the changing of, the death of a very popular rabbi, and I were trying to get quotes for and against them. If I called Richard Spencer, or I called Nick Fuentes, or one of the top three, David Duke, the biggest anti-Semites in the planet, I would do more than say, Nick Fuentes, the popular host of the Nick Fuentes show. I would couch that as, okay, Nick Fuentes, a very well-known anti-Semite, or an anti-Semite. I would let the reader know that we're dealing with an anti-religious person here, right?
No, but John, he doesn't call himself an anti.
No. And so this is either because he very well did his hide behind the name of his podcast and lie about his position in the church by saying, yes, I'm Mormon, as though it's some kind of Utah ethnicity, which it's not. He's an excommunicated member of our church. He is not a member of our church. He's not affiliated with it anyhow. He has zero authority in the church. He is not somebody to speak with authority on the church. He is somebody who creates rage bait and cult porn for the uninitiated. The majority of his channel and his viewership is actually people who have never been Mormon. And these are all statistics that we have screenshots and receipts for. He is not somebody who should be commenting or be considered for a commentary by the New York Times, or dare I say the Gray Lady. Okay. But anyway, the author opens it up by saying, John Dehlin, the host of the podcast, The Mormon Stories, said he had interviewed hundreds of women. Okay. That really should have said John Dehlin, the host of the anti-Mormon podcast, Mormon Stories. But because it wasn't presented that way, again, the viewer is misled to be thinking that this is an authority on the subject, which he is not. So, or that it's a positive authority, because it does look like she did a good job of trying to have post-Mormon voices, current Mormon voices, and bounce back and forth and do her due diligence trying to get multiple views of the same problem. But in this case, either she accidentally presented an anti-Mormon as a pro-Mormon, or she did it knowingly. I don't know. We'd have to talk to her. So anyway, it continues, babe, to show how basically it's true. Women are arbitraging these things.
Did you know?
Right?
Okay. There's also, Carden, go into the Discord. I did a screenshot. So I found this comment in Erica's video that we already showed.
Got it right here. Okay.
So Erica was like, there's people selling garments, right, for double, triple the cost, making a profit off of selling, which that seems like a straight ticket to hell. Like, if you're selling garments for a profit, like, I would tread softly there.
They're renting them?
They're renting them.
They're renting them.
Allegedly.
Oh, no, they're not. This can't be real.
I don't have first-hand experience. I'm just reading the comments. But this was just one of many where women said, I know this. They're renting garments.
Look at, so look, no
Why
way.
Someone would rent underwear is beyond me.
No, this is like soaking. The thing that's not real and doesn't happen but keeps getting recycled.
That's why I said it's allegedly. I'm just saying it's all in Erica's comments. There's other videos where people are claiming, and it's a Utah thing. Okay.
So this week I heard, and this is just somebody named Jen, but it says, this week I heard that they're not just selling them. Some women are renting them out here in the valley for real. What is wrong with people? Erica, no renting. That's insane. Renting underwear, OMG, and then wild. Okay.
Allegedly.
I disbelieve that anybody. Okay. I believe that there's wealthy suburban women with enough time to actually either fly out to the Philippines, have friends overseas, ship it to them.
Part of the article itself said women will stop at nothing to get these tank tops. Like, I was in the article.
You know what? You know what, babe? You might be right. I don't know. Okay, well, anyway, the Gray Lady continues. All right, the Gray Lady continues and actually gets contested by our girl. Guess who contested what John Dehlin said, babe?
I'm going to go with Megan Kohler.
Megan Kohler. Here it is in an article written by Megan Kohler. She claps back and she says, this week, my underwear made it into the New York Times. Members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints wear undergarments called, garments, as a symbolic reminder of their relationship to Christ. And she put some pepper behind this article, titling it, Maybe Male Critics Are Not Experts on Religious Women's Underclothing.
Great title.
The perfect Mormon stereotype versus free-thinking rebel is a tired dichotomy. Oh, brutal. So it seems like I'm looking at your face and it looks like you feel similarly, huh?
Yeah.
A tired dichotomy. Well, let's just read the first two phrases she's got, and then I'm going to pull up Airbnb and see if I can rent an apartment in Provo to visit some of my friends and see if it comes with rentable garments as well. There. So anyway, She said, many religious traditions wear symbolic clothing to express their religious commitments, and for members of our church, that clothing is quite purposefully the layer worn closest to the skin. When I began wearing the garment at age 24, I would never have dreamed that one day I'd be reading about it in the country's preeminent newspaper. Okay. And then she comes after John Dehlin. She says garments are probably not in the New York Times because they're inherently interesting, but as part of the continuing discussion about the place of institutions and religious authority in our lives. To that end, John Dehlin, a former member who podcasts criticisms of the church, is asked to weigh in on Latter-day Saint women's feelings. I would say close to all of them express significant discomfort, if not aversion to wearing garments. So she quotes the New York Times quote of John Dehlin, but then continues and says, this seems a bit like asking Martin Luther how Catholics feel about the Pope. Unless there is some compelling reason to believe Dehlin's ongoing criticism of the institutional church is not coloring his perceptions of how its members feel, sourcing him here is mind-bogglingly weird. This one-sidedness renders garment wearing opaque and dogmatic in contrast with influencers who are broadcasting a new vision of the church to their tens of millions of followers. So, what do you think, babe? Do you agree with Megan?
Yeah, I love Megan. I think she's salty, but she backs it up with facts. I think she's great.
Yeah, and man, there's just a way that Megan talks that is like, you know, that really nice aunt that you have that's like really righteous and just good and generous. Mm-hmm. And like, she's never yelled. You doubt she's ever had to discipline anybody because she can just look at you and just be like, I'm disappointed in you. Mm-hmm. And it just like crushes your soul. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So I wouldn't say Megan's that way, but like she has an erudite way of speaking in which like, if she were to say this about me, I would just feel absolutely Donkey Kong stomped, you know? She says, it seems incredibly strange to reference only those who are estranged or detached from the church to talk about something so sensitive and spiritual. So consider, and this is where she gets salty, so consider the credibility or lack thereof of such sources who suggest that Latter-day Saint women now come in just two varieties: pioneer women in long dresses or mermaid hair and plunging gowns. Oh my goodness gracious. It's hard for me to understand why the oppression narrative around the church is so compelling. Well, I can tell you exactly why. It's cult porn, Megan. All of your lady friends that can't stop tuning in to true crime, even though true crime podcasts in America are about as real as the WWE is. Why do you like it? Because it's cult porn. Why do men like wrestling? Because it's testosterone porn, right? Why do women like cult porn? Because, oh my gosh, it's such a train wreck. I can't stop looking away. Can you believe what Scientologists do to their women? Can you believe what, Mormons do to their women? Can you believe what J-dubs do to their women? Now, that's not to defend anything horrible that's been done in any of those faiths that has been documented and found to be proven real and so on and so forth. But the things that we get accused of in the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints are so freaking absurd and over the top. It makes me question if any of these other accusations can be real, right? Mm-hmm. So, I think that's why the oppression narrative is so prevalent, is because it's cult porn. So anyway, those are the articles, babe. We're the talk of the town now with all of our garments and so on and so forth.
Who knew?
Do you look forward to the sleeveless ones?
I do.
Okay.
I do.
How much would you pay for one? This is the last thing we'll say. How much would you be willing to pay for 3 sets, enough that you could wear them before they came out in Los Angeles, because they're coming out in hot and humid environments first, like Malaysia and the Philippines? How much money would you pay for 3 sets just to be ahead of the curve on being able to wear them, like, legally, but still sleeveless? How much would you pay per set?
I wouldn't.
You wouldn't?
No, I would just wait for them to come out.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Actually, I believe you. I believe you. I've been married to you long enough to know you wouldn't lie about that.
Yeah.
So, what would you lie about? Totally
I don't
just
really
kidding.
lie. I'm
I'm
like
totally
a pretty
kidding.
honest person.
I know, I'm totally just kidding with you. So anyway, guys, let us know what you think in the comments below. Are you rolling with Erica here? And you're thinking that this shiz is off
Hold on,
the
I have
hizzy?
one final thought.
Okay.
Just popped in.
Yeah, what is it?
I will say this. I wish the church would have made them available to everyone at the same time. Just go, there you go. Because then I feel like it wouldn't have created this buying, renting of garments. Women are losing their minds. They're trying to get their hands on them. It's just causing chaos, which is not what the garment actually represents or symbolizes. It actually represents and symbolizes the complete opposite. And I don't know. I wish the church would have just made it available for everyone so we would just bypass all this nonsense.
Yeah, but then we also wouldn't have been able to do this podcast.
That's true. So like and subscribe and comment. Thank you so much.
Exactly. Let us know what you guys think in the comments below. As always, for this and more, please make sure you check us out at wardradio.com.